Like
Wow.
I could go to like a casino right now. I know, crazy rules. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, there's way more depth to this. It's really cool. I get the most excited for bear markets too, because like remember,
Every person I've talked to in the exchange says that.
it's just true though, because like all the cool stuff is, it's coming soon. You know what I mean? Like that's
not financial advice.
We'll see.
Currency.com offers literally thousands of tokenized assets from stocks, indexes, and cryptocurrencies that you can trade, but not in the United States. I spoke with their CEO, Stephen Gregory, and he told us about the path to getting regulation to be able to offer all of those assets all over the world. You don't want to miss this one.
That's dope. That's dope.
But currency.com, you guys clearly have the tokenize everything ethos.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
got to be challenging in the United States.
Yeah, so we actually don't do that stuff in the US, so like
Right.
that's abroad.
Right.
So the company's sort of like, in Europe there's CFD brokers. And we sort of came out of that initially and then sort of added the cryptos and everything after that. And now we're becoming much more of a crypto company. So we sort of had an idea of like trade anything at any time. And we just listed a lot of pairs and it had a lot of leverage and a lot of, just cool products we thought we'd engage with. And I think as we've gotten bigger and the rules change, we sort of break it up based on jurisdiction, where you can do what you can, and then, sort of assess like the risk and,
What are the benefits of tokenizing assets?
I think it's just so much easier to like manage order books. You know what I mean? If you don't have to deal with like shared delivery or anything like that, you don't have to do like custodian stuff. Everybody sort of knows what they're doing. They're just trading the volatility. Like you're a trader, like you don't really want to vote at shareholder meetings, right? You want to just see if it goes up or down.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, we saw what happened with GameStop on Robinhood when you have 48-hour clearing.
I know, yeah. One of our best things was during that time, we didn't go down. And then on Reddit, everybody was like, they're still going, they're whatever. So we were just ripping because of that.
How did you guys manage to get the name currency.com?
I guess.
The greatest domain
Yeah,
in history.
we have currency.com and capital.com, and then we just bought another one. I don't know if I can share it, but we bought another really like good first, like one word domain that we're going to launch soon. So the plan is sort of to have a broker dealer here in the US under capital.com, and that'll be very like traditional assets, and then currency.com will be the crypto.
So a broker dealer would be E-Trade, Robinhood,
Yeah.
Schwab competitor.
Yeah.
Not tokenized.
Not tokenized, yeah. My background was as an attorney before, so like I sort of understand some of that stuff, and I still do some of that stuff. But so I always had a path in mind to sort of be able to offer some of those products using existing licenses versus how they want to do it. I think like their proposal is definitely better, but there's a license called the designated contract market, which is like the full exchange, and then there's a futures commission merchant, which is sort of like a broker. And I thought that would be the easier license to be able to offer those products. And if their proposal succeeds, it sort of eliminates the FCMs. So it sort of like complicates, like the light dealer.
Well, it sounds like one would be better for your business and one would be better for longer term adoption.
Yeah. So like, pretty simply, like, because if you run like a full commodities exchange, there's a lot of compliance that has to do with that. You know what I mean? You have to get to scale pretty quickly to make that all work.
What kind of law were you practicing?
Just like, I was very junior lawyer, like securities litigation.
But it was securities.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, that was
I was
like,
going to ask how you make the pivot to an exchange and the crypto industry. I'm always curious how people end up in this.
I know, it was kind of a
space.
gamble. Yeah, like the time. So it was like 2016, the end of 2016. Some of my friends would like talk about it, and I had bought Bitcoin. Like Ether had just sort of came out. Everything was like sort of heating up, but like very under the radar. And then I pitched it to the partners of the law firm I was working on. I was like, hey, we can go after some of these companies. Like they're all going to get these money transmitter licenses, which like allow you to do business in the States. I think they probably don't know what they're doing. We had solved a lot of legal problems pretty quickly. And the partners of the firm were like, hey, no.
Wrong firm.
Like, keep doing what we told you to do. And like sit back, go back to your desk. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to make a change. And then Gemini was like hiring. There was like 10 people at the time. I went to Gemini, got hired, did like all the compliance, for 2.5 years there, and then left to go to CXIO, which is a big older European exchange, which is like sort of flies under the radar, but it's like a really big scale if you're in the crypto space. Did that, and I ran bringing their European exchange to the US. So I launched it, got all the licenses in a year, did all that, and like set them on a great path. And then when I was there, currency.com reached out to me and were like, do you want to come sort of do the same thing?
If you've been following me for the last few months, then you definitely know that I've been trading and investing on Bitget.
Now listen, it took me 6 months to decide that they were going to be the sponsor for the newsletter. But once I saw their partnership with Juventus, that they were the world's leading copy trading platform in crypto, and also that they're a top 5 exchange by volume, well, I was sold and I was convinced. And I've been using it ever since to dollar cost average and to invest in Bitcoin. You can also trade there with leverage, but of course, be careful if you're going to do that. And I don't know if you saw the recent news, but they've also done a deal with Lionel Messi.
Bitget, a perfect time.
Now, you can get up to an $8,000 bonus using my link below, and you can trade spot with absolutely no fees. You also get a 15% discount on trading leverage. Go ahead and sign up right now using the wolfofallstreets.info/Bitget. Claim that huge reward and use the world's best trading platform. So it's kind of like a slow transition. You were like a lawyer, and then you were kind of doing that at Gemini, and then you transitioned to just basically running.
Yeah, so it was like compliance and executive. And I feel like, with a space like this, where the rules were so unsettled, everybody was asking compliance and lawyers everything anyway.
And none of you have, and good luck getting a straight answer. How can you even, you're saying people come to you to understand compliance, but we don't have clear regulations, so how can you ever give a...
I know, and it's like every year it changes. Like I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I was like, think about in like 2018, like with the IRS, like how we filed crypto taxes. Like we didn't do anything, because like none of the exchanges had any guidance. There was guidance from like 2015. And now think of what we do. Like we
it's
do
10 times harder than any other industry. It's horrible.
Yeah, we basically do what broker dealers do now. And it's like, that's such a short time. And you've seen companies like that crypto tax software companies didn't exist like 4 years ago. Now they're like raising $1 billion valuations. So it's like, it's coming fast. And I think, if you have like going through the process, like I've gone through the licensing process a couple times now, if you have kind of that acumen to be like, oh, we need to do this, we don't need to do this, even though the state law says this, it actually really means this. You can really sort of streamline some things. So like, for some of these startup exchanges, they'll go pay like Paul Hastings, the law firm, like $2 million to like go get all the licenses. But like you could probably do it yourself for like a tenth that. Right. If you know what you're doing, you know what I mean? So like,
but you have to go state by state.
Yeah. And even that's like changing and difficult. I mean,
so do most just say, forget the United States?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, unfortunately, I think a lot of the exciting products are offshore now, and, that's difficult. Like you can't, like perpetual futures and stuff, like everybody loves that stuff, but like you can't do it here, So it's like, all the fun, like sort of like ribbon finance, all that kind of stuff, like it's sort of a gray area, but like that stuff's super cool. You should be able to do that in the US, I think like.
Well, I mean, as an individual free human, you should be able to basically do whatever you want with your money. I guess I can understand why regulators would want the companies to be compliant when they're doing it, but it's kind of absurd that as an American citizen, you're
like blocked. I could go to like a casino right now.
I literally you and I can go spend everything we have
every
on
dollar
lottery
I have,
tickets at
and
the
nobody
bodega downstairs.
Yeah, one question. I can make a red buyback for $1 million right now if I want to do, but like if I want to buy a professional future, like it's not possible.
Or if you want to, even to further that, if you want to invest in your friend's company and you aren't accredited.
Yeah. I know. Crazy rules.
Yeah, it seems like they really want to protect us from opportunity, unfortunately. But, but that has to be a massive challenge for you guys as you build. So do you just continue testing things offshore while you wait for regulation to...
So I think what my genesis going forward is now we're in the bear market, so everybody's sort of building stuff. I think the way to do it now is just find products that are still attractive to the retail within the narrow confines of law. So you can do some stuff, and we just really haven't really pushed that boundary. And I think now when we're more hungry for users, when the volumes aren't just crazy, you can actually focus on rolling those products out. And I think you're seeing Coinbase and stuff rolling out a lot of passive investment products and stuff like that. I think that stuff gets bigger. And I also think people want to be into crypto, but they don't want to go on Uniswap and figure that out. People aren't crypto native, they're not going to do that. But if you could package up those cool products and simplify them to retail, I think that they'd really start to see the utility of crypto and get more invested in it.
How do you do that?
I got some ideas. I think we're going to roll out.
Can you share any of them?
I said I wasn't going to because I want to roll out these products, but I think there's it'll say passive investment products, and I think using legal structuring in different ways, and I think that could be attractive to retail people. So I think LegalZoom, I think crypto, I think that could be, there's a cool mix in there that we could figure some.
Assuming that regulators get in line, or at least are somewhat reasonable, do you think we get to a place where we can tokenize effectively everything and trade it?
The thing I was thinking about too, like clearing brokers. Like that doesn't need to.
That's the dumbest thing.
That doesn't need to
There's
exist.
literally no reason that I can't just sell you something.
Or like transfer agents. Like this stuff still exists, and there's like huge industries behind this. But like we can run an exchange. Like you even saw, like when exchanges go down, nobody blows up because all the leverage is just in that exchange, and you can only really risk what you have.
Right.
So it's like it's such a safer system, so much better. So I hope we get there eventually. I think the CFTC has to relax on some of those rules, though. I think that's gonna if they're gonna be like the main regulator for this stuff, like they gotta relax to some of these rules and let people actually use like products.
Well, I think there's a better chance that the CFTC would relax than the SEC.
Yeah. And I think I'd personally rather do the CFTC. I feel like it's more careful in like how it's laid out. I think it's just like, aside from like having like overly broad definitions of like certain things like market manipulation, but I think like how their rules are structured, like how they do different exchanges, how they do different products, and how you manage your own exchange, I think is sort of better there.
Yeah, I agree. I think the whole industry right now seemingly agrees with that. It seems like there's a million exchanges at this point. So how do you differentiate yourselves and compete?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it's products, and I also think like a lot of it's marketing too. And I think like
you buy arena.
Yeah, I know.
Buy some arena rights.
I know, it's like
match rights.
I think like we had a guy who worked at our company who was a marketing guy, and like really put me onto this like thinking about stuff, and like sort of it's just more like internet traffic. You know what I mean? Like you're buying eyeballs a lot of times, but you're trying to buy eyeballs at the right time and the right sort of structure. And I think that like some of the exchanges here in the US aren't that good at that. And I think like you can scale really quickly if you like devote more efforts to that kind of stuff. I mean, you're a great marketer,
Yeah, I don't really have like the deep knowledge of SEO and targeting, and it's more organic. But I would imagine that in your business, it's very much about how cost effective it is to hit those eyes and to make sure that they're the right eyes. I think a lot of companies, to your point, you just sort of do these sweeping marketing. For most people, you need to like find that person that might actually sign up.
Yeah.
Like marketing to a 13-year-old like teenager doesn't help, and that's wasting your marketing dollars.
Yeah.
But it seems like people, not in the United States, but elsewhere, have so many options where to trade, so many perpetual futures products, as you've talked about. So how do you win those people? Like, how do you convince them that you're the place to be trading?
Yeah,
Currency.com is a great name.
Yeah, it's a good name. And I think like we haven't, like our exchange offshore is really, really good. I think we need to bring like that here and have like, we're going to roll out some things with like AI type stuff and to like figure out your trading patterns and then sort of like coach up people and say like, hey, you make mistakes at this time. Oh, maybe you should back up. Maybe you should, and things like that. And I think like alerts and like more systems like that to sort of give people like, to take them from like very early on, just buy Bitcoin and like hold it, and to like actually actively trading it, like understanding how the charts work and stuff. Like, I think if you think of like your own journey, like I know mine, like I didn't know anything about how like charts works or anything like that. And I sort of just learned it. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, there's way more depth to this. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So I think like some of that stuff and like, teaching people like how Etherscan works and stuff like that. Like then you're going to get way deeper into it, I think.
You talked about buying Bitcoin and Ethereum in the very early days and trying to convince the partners to be involved. Are you still holding that Bitcoin? And
Ethereum? I hold a bunch of stuff. I stake now on Ether, so like that's sort of like my move for
in the actual ETH 2.0.
Yeah. I was early in that, and I was like, all right, I think this would be good. It just seems like it's like a bond that pays forever, Like
I was speaking with Jeff Dorman from Arca.
Oh yeah,
he was basically saying, because they kind of blew up with Luna, but we were talking about all these C5 blowups and how maybe that search for yield has been dampened by people. And he made the argument, he's like, whatever the ETH staking contract is should be the benchmark yield. For everything in crypto. So like if you can get 7% there, then you're not going to go get 5% somewhere else. You get 7% plus.
Yeah.
So maybe we have a rehash of the sort of yield conversation, but in a safer manner. I mean, you guys watching all these things explode, was that scary?
Not for us. Thankfully, like we didn't borrow any money, and we don't like lend out customer money. So we're funded by a VC, like founders like VC. So we were very like cash positive, like all through 2021, like month after month, it's like bigger and bigger and bigger. So we didn't really get exposed like that. I mean, I remember seeing that stuff go down, and I was like, this is pretty scary.
Right, but even if you weren't exposed to the contagion, I just mean for market perception.
Oh yeah.
Potential customers that could have been yours getting completely wiped out.
Yeah.
Things like that. Or do you think that you were just sort of immune to it?
We saw like some of those things where you have a monster day for the exchange, and then like people get wiped out, and you have like nothing for like 2 weeks.
That you can see that in every single chart on every single exchange.
And you're like, that's just tough because you're like, damn, everybody's like way out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there's a perception that a lot of people think that the exchanges want you to lose your money because they make money. Maybe they want you to lose your money slower. I don't know. But they certainly want you to remain a customer. And not get liquidated and never come back.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's not an infinite amount of new traders, especially in a bear market, who are going to come in once they've lost their money.
Yeah, I know. And like you see, like, you know, customer support tickets ramp way up after a big drawdown. You know what I mean? Because everybody's pissed. It's like terrible customer like journey. You know what I mean? They're not like the satisfaction's gonna be terrible.
Is that true? Like they literally, is it sort of they want someone to blame, so they just hit up customer service and say, "You triggered my stop."
Yeah, like what is
100
this?
pips above like whatever it should have been. Or...
Yeah, which is tough, but I mean, we have a good customer support team, so it's like you get through it. But you know,
did you during the last bull run? Did you guys have major customer service challenges with just onboarding?
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, that's the one thing that like I learned at Gemini that I was able to take through, you know, doing it a couple times, and the vendors have gotten much better. So you can sort of piece together like different AI web crawlers, like different stuff that scan the photos. So you can automate like, you know, over 95% of onboards. So it's pretty quick now, you know what I mean? So you don't really have those huge buildups like you used to.
Because last year, I mean, when I spoke with at the time, like Steve at Voyager and it was Catherine Coley, I think, at Binance US at the time, they were like, and even CZ, he said there aren't enough customer support people in the world that I could hire right now to handle.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about like April 2021.
Oh
you
yeah.
know, and he was like, there's not enough people in the world that we could hire to make our customers happy.
Yeah.
Just a human problem. That's interesting that you say there's enough AI that could basically handle a lot of that.
I think
because there were waiting lists like month, 2 months just to.
We had that in, like at Gemini in like the first run up, and I remember it was all hands on deck. Like every person was like checking IDs, like every person in the company, because you're just trying to get people on the platform. But now I feel like once you sort of learn how the vendors work and learn how to like piece together, and you have the right people like doing the development, it's pretty good, I think.
So what do you think the biggest challenges moving forward for this space are? Do you think there's anything that can stop it?
Definitely not. I think the one thing I want to see change, I was thinking about this today, is I would love the credit card merchant codes to change. I think that would be like if anybody's watching from Visa or MasterCard, be like, that just please change it. The 6051 code makes it high risk, like way more rejections, like it just is not working for us. You know what I mean? Like I think that if we could figure out how to get that better, you know, it'll solve a lot of problems.
That was an unexpected one.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think of
Didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And as far as onboarding, I mean, do you think that right now it's really just regulation that's the biggest barrier?
I was thinking about this too. Like I think like when I want to order something from my house or something like that, I go on Amazon because there's my credit card there, and it's just one click and it's done. I don't even care if it's more cheaper or more expensive or whatever.
No, it's
I just do it because it's easy.
I don't even know if it's cheaper.
Yeah. It's probably, I don't even look.
That's the price. If Amazon says that's the price.
Yeah, then I don't have to type in 16 digits. Like perfect. I think if we can get more like the Apple Pay stuff on the exchanges and get that like just one click, I think that'd be good. I would like to see like crypto exchanges pivot to being like more like full service banking type things. Like you pay your bills, you can do everything, so you get direct deposit in there, and then you could like get yields, you could lend it out, you could do whatever. I think that would be, you know.
I mean, that's the theoretical promise of DeFi, but I think we're so far
from
being able to do that.
Yeah.
Imagine having to do that, but like signing transactions in your MetaMask wallet and typing in, you know, OX, blah, 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 blah. It's just as much as we kind of want mainstream adoption right now, it's so evident that it's not usable unless you're crypto native.
Yeah.
But do you think that we can build tools eventually where it is as...
I think so, yeah. I think now that like some stuff's starting to get into the mobile app, the mobile phones, I think that we're gonna get closer. Like I get the most excited for bear markets too, because like remember
every person I've talked to in the exchange says that.
It's just true though, because like all the cool stuff is, you know, it's coming soon. You know what I mean? Like right before DeFi summer, you're like, oh, this was like the bottom. I knew like people that I respected that were older than me were like, I'm going back to like whatever asset manager. I'm going back, like I'm out, I'm done. And then all of a sudden DeFi summer just exploded and you're like, whoa, there's some really cool stuff out there. Like I have to read all about this. Like I have to interact with it. So I think we're like almost at the precipice of that.
So you're saying when our friends start quitting and giving up, it's time to buy everything?
That's
not financial advice.
That's why, internal market.
Those literally are the best bottom signals that there are. We're not quite seeing it yet.
I'm not seeing it yet. That's like, once the guys you like respected that are like serious guys are like, I'm out, like, you know, back to Credit Suisse, you know what I mean? And you're like, okay, buy time. We're coming.
Incidentally, I met two guys from Credit Suisse today who were trying to get into crypto.
Yeah,
Walking around with their name tag, Credit Suisse. So they're all here, right? I mean, listen, you've been through Gemini and you sort of described the journey. Did you think that in 2022 we'd be talking about BlackRock?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Fidelity, Citadel.
I know.
They would all be here.
I know. It's so crazy because, like, the way you sort of see it from the exchange perspective is, like, I can't reveal too much, but, like, the way they do it is, like, the family office for...
Oh, of course.
Comes on first.
They're here.
And then you're like, oh, we're onboarding, like, this guy's family office. And, like, they're messing around with the platform, they're experimenting. And then, like, 6 months down the line, like, the huge institutions are in.
Yeah, like when Ken Griffin was here.
Yeah. You're like, that idea looks familiar,
Which makes perfect sense that they would sort of test it first. But it sort of gives this interesting cognitive dissonance to me because we cheer the presence of them, but we were supposed to be
and I also think everybody's like
short the banks, right?
Yeah, I know. And everybody's like, oh, it's gonna cram down the fees, it's gonna cram down. And I'm like, no. I don't see them like legacy financial institutions have not had a great track record of like coming in and succeeding and beating out native crypto companies. I just don't really see it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think you can hire as many people as you want, but they just don't get it.
Yeah.
So as a platform, as an exchange, is there major competition for onboarding or being the first to get those institutional clients as well beyond retail, or is the focus primarily on retail?
I think we're more retail on like our platform, and like our OTC desk is like, a little more institutional, but definitely more retail. I think, at first I was like apprehensive to focus more on retail, but then I think it's actually sort of better. Because institutions really only want to trade if it's like 0% maker fees, and then like a pain in the ass about like onboarding you, like they're emailing you all the time. It's like time suck, everything suck, and you don't really get that much revenue out of them. Like the second they don't have an advantage or a rebate, they're gone. So retail is like a little more loyal, and you can actually build a product that's like a little more rewarding. They're not just like shopping. So I don't. 2024, spring 2024, we're out of it. We're bull market's kicking off again. So I guess just weather the storm. I'm thinking. Hopefully next summer.
You talk about weather the storm, but for you, it's build as much as I can.
Yeah, no, I think so, definitely.
Before you become a customer service agent like everyone else trying to onboard all these new people.
Yeah, because like you actually get to work on the product versus like you're just like putting out fires when the bull market's raging. You know what I mean? You're just trying to like keep everything going.
I'm curious. I haven't actually asked anyone at an exchange this. How much, percentage-wise, or even just increase, are you seeing people utilizing mobile versus?
So we focus more on our app, obviously, than the desktop version. So we probably see like 70-30 split. So I don't know if that's consistent with other ones, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious thinking about everybody. I've done it. Just trading from your phone.
Yeah, I would only trade spot from my phone. I think.
Like trading from your phone.
Like that's scary enough.
Dude, I can't. I can say that in probably the 10 years I've had an iPhone, I maybe 1% of the time have successfully typed a sentence without them correcting a word for me. So I would hate to be the fat finger guy on leverage who takes adds a zero to my contract.
Yeah.
Or types the wrong numbers. Do you actively trade?
I don't have time anymore.
So you did?
I did. I liked it. I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't great at it. And
nobody is.
I enjoyed it.
Spoiler. Nobody's great at it.
Because I sports betted for forever, and that's great when you're watching a game because you're in it. But when you start discovering perpetuals, you're like, at any time of the day I can get action, and that's pretty fun. But then you're like, this is just, I can't stare.
I'm gambling 24/7.
And I can't stare at a computer screen 20 hours a day.
Yeah, I remember the first days before it was banned, but of online poker being available, sitting there playing 4 tables at 3 o'clock in the morning, degenerate in my 20s. And maybe that's bad. Maybe that's not that great. And that really is, though, how I think a lot of people treat crypto.
Sometimes if I'm in an airport and have a layover and it's 2 hours, I'm like, all right, let's buckle up, let's see what's going on. Do
you still sports bet?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. That's pretty fun.
Is there a place for crypto and sports betting?
I think so. I mean, I definitely.
Have you ever done any of crypto-based sports betting?
Yeah, I did it just to sort of see. I always test every other product that's out there. So I'll go on those sites, deposit some Bitcoin, do some bets, see what the user experience is like, and see if there's anything we can bring over to crypto stuff. I think the thing about sports betting is for so many years we only saw the spread bets. We didn't see much variation, and now we're starting to see different stuff the points bet where you can get different things. So I think that should be a lesson in crypto. We've seen the spot trading, the very basic stuff. now we can find like some new products to make it like a little more interesting, I think.
Yeah, I'm not a huge sports bettor, but I love fantasy football, so I obviously bet on that. And the player props.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if you've seen that, but now you know, it used to be you choose your players, you choose your team. Now it's at a very granular level. How many yards will this guy
I
get?
know.
How many touchdowns will this? I mean, you can literally.
Like what color will the Gatorade be if
Yeah,
they
you
dump?
you can literally bet on everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think people should have that freedom.
I agree. Like consenting adults should be able to do like what they want. Like that's sort of, what America was founded on, Like
Can you call up Gary Gensler?
I know.
Cancel that one.
I know.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you guys build in the future. Man, this is a great conversation.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, so you'll have to come back and update us in a few months.
Yeah, I will, definitely. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.